Post-completion OPT application final review before mailing. Congratulations! If you are watching this video, you have completed the post-completion OPT application and are getting ready to mail your application to the USCIS. This video works best if you have your entire application in hand and in front of you, as this video will review your application and note some of the most frequent concerns the USCIS has with post-completion OPT applications. Your application's completeness and accuracy are your responsibility. You're responsible for ensuring that your application is correct and meets the requirements for a successful submission to USCIS. If you do not have your entire post-OPT application in hand and in front of you, you should pause this video or return to it when you do. Additionally, this video follows the post-completion OPT checklist that can be found on our post-completion OPT webpage. 3 important reminders before we begin. Number 1, USCIS cannot receive your application more than 90 days before the degree conferral date. Number 2, USCIS must receive your completed OPT application within 30 days of the OPT endorsement issue date. Otherwise, your application will be denied. And number 3, if you decide not to submit documents to the USCIS after the Bechtel International Center has issued the OPT endorsed I-20, you must contact us immediately. Now let's start by arranging your application documents in the order they appear on our template cover letter. Your cover letter will be at the top of the application documents, followed by the Form I-765, Form G-1145, photocopy of your OPT endorsed I-20, photocopies of all previous I-20s, photocopy of the bio page in your passport and the visa stamp in your passport, unless you are from Canada, in which case you will not have a visa stamp, and a printout of your I-94 arrival record. You will paperclip 2 items to the top left side of your cover letter: the application fee payment, which you made in the form of a personal check, cashier's check, or money order, along with an envelope containing your 2 passport-size photos. If applicable, you will also include a photocopy of any previously issued employment authorization document. If you applied for pre-completion OPT and have not received the EAD card yet, please include a copy of the pre-completion OPT receipt notice. Now that we have your application in order, let's review some key sections of the cover letter. Confirm that your name and CVIS ID number are correct. Confirm that the I-94 number on your cover letter is the I-94 number from your most recent entry into the U.S. Confirm that the employment dates you are requesting in the cover letter match the dates requested on your OPT endorsed I-20. If using a mailing address that is not your own, confirm that the mailing address is listed and highlighted in the last paragraph of the cover letter as pictured in the template cover letter. Now let's review the I-765 and some of the areas that we see questions about. This review will not cover every item on the Form I-765, so if there is an item that is not covered, it doesn't mean that it should be skipped or left unanswered unless otherwise indicated to do so on the I-765 tip sheet. Please watch our YouTube video on completing the Form I-765 or review our tip sheet to make sure that your Form I-765 is fully completed. In Part 1 of the Form I-765, you should have checked the box for 1A, Initial Permission to Accept Employment. In Part 2, your full legal name, items 1A through 1B, confirm that your name matches as it appears on your I-20 and your passport. In Part 2, Other Names Used, you will either have used the field to report other names that you have used, or each field will have typed in not applicable or written N/A. Continuing on to the second page, Part 2, Your U.S. Mailing Address. Confirm that the mailing address you are using is correct and valid for the next 6 months. If the mailing address is different from where you are currently living, make sure that question 6 is checked No, and in 7A through 7D you have entered the address where you are currently living. Skipping ahead to Part 2, Item 13A. If you have a Social Security number already, you would check Yes, and in 13B confirm that you entered your Social Security number. If you have a Social Security number and don't need another Social Security number card, Then in item 14, you will have checked No and proceeded to items 18A and 18B. If you don't have a Social Security number, then in 13A, confirm that you checked the box for No. If you don't have a Social Security number and would like to apply for one using the I-765, then confirm you checked Yes in item 14, Yes in item 15, and confirm that you entered your parents' names in 16A through 17B. For items 18A and 18B, under the Your Country or Countries of Citizenship or Nationality, if you are only a citizen or national of one country, be sure that in 18B you have typed Not Applicable or written N/A. Confirm that all the information you entered in items 19A through 26 is correct. For item 27, you should have entered the lowercase letter c in the first box, the number 3 in the second box, and the uppercase letter B in the third box. Confirm for items 28 through 31 that you have typed Not Applicable or written N/A, or for numeric responses have typed or written None. In Part 3, confirm that you checked item 1A and confirm that the information you entered in items 3, 4, and 5 are correct. Confirm that your signature in Part 3, item 7A, is not touching any lines of the box. If your signature is touching any lines of the box, your application will be denied. Confirm that you have typed Not Applicable or written N/A, or for numeric responses typed or written None, in all the remaining fields of Parts 4 and 5. Now to review Part 6. You will leave Part 6 blank if you were not authorized for any CPT, any OPT, or had a prior CVIS ID number. If you did have any CPT or OPT authorization, or previously canceled or withdrew a pre- or post-OPT application, or had a prior CVIS ID number, confirm that that information was entered correctly in Part 6 and signed as per the instructions on the I-765 tip sheet. Now that you verified that the Form I-765 was correctly completed, confirm that the information you entered on the bottom of the Form G1145 is correct. The next set of documents in your application will be your I-20s. Confirm that you have signed and dated your OPT endorsed I-20. Confirm that you have included a copy of your OPT endorsed I-20 and that the endorsement will not be 30 days or older when it reaches USCIS. Make sure that you have included copies of all the previous I-20s, especially those noting CPT authorization, in chronological order based on issue date. Make sure you have written your most recent I-94 number at the top of the photocopy of the OPT endorsed I-20. Make sure that you have included a copy of the bio page of your valid passport and a copy of your most recent student visa, and make sure that you have written your most recent I-94 number on the top of those copies. Confirm that you have included 2 passport-style photos and that those photos match the passport photo requirements of the U.S. Department of State. Confirm that you have lightly written your full name and I-94 number on the back of each photo. Confirm that the ink has not smeared on the photos. Confirm that you have included a personal check or a cashier's check or a money order made out to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security for the amount listed in the filing fee section of the government's I-765 webpage. Do not include the biometric fee as this does not apply to you. Congratulations! You have completed the review of your application. You should now be ready to mail your application to the USCIS. We recommend that you make photocopies of everything you are sending to the USCIS so you know exactly what was sent. In the description box below this video, you'll find a link for a post-OPT application checklist.